Walking the Halls by Toby Frost.
Boo.
Most amusing. Good evening, Jane.
And you too, Nathaniel. Fancy seeing you here.
And fancy you remarking on it. I realize we don't have much choice about this, but every night you make the same hilarious observations. I hesitate to call them jokes. And every night I despair before we have even started walking the halls.
You don't find Boo funny?
I've not found it funny since about 1800, Jane, and it was getting somewhat tired 100 years before then.
If only you'd told me. You know, sometimes I do wonder about your sense of humour, Nathaniel. It's almost as if you Puritans don't enjoy a good laugh.
If God had intended me to go around laughing, he'd have made me a jester.
Tell you what, I promise never to say boo to you ever again, so long as I live anyway.
And you've never made that joke before either. Truly, I am trapped in hell.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. You're not stuck in hell. You're just stuck in the house you had built, in the company of the servant girl you pushed down the well, for eternity. All you have to do is walk the halls every night. Compared to the poor bugger who has to clean them, I think you got off pretty lightly. The amount of litter some of these tourists produce is remarkable. Not to mention the amount of fluff that comes off them. They must have navels like a bear pit at closing time.
Well, we had better get walking. Will you take my arm?
No, but thanks for the offer.
Jane, something has been troubling me, eating at my mind, so to speak. I have a question.
Let me guess. Is there life after death?
Damn it, woman. Do you have to be so bloody flippant all the time? Now look what you've done. You've made me curse. Now, that's a sin.
Seriously, I wouldn't worry about a bit of cursing. You're hardly in God's good books as it is. You just said that you were in hell. How much worse can it get? You can't go any lower than hell, right? Although I do wonder sometimes why we don't fall through the floorboards. I mean, we can pass through walls, so why don't we just sink into the ground? Besides, blaspheming's nothing in comparison. You committed murder, after all.
Yes, I suppose I did. But it was you that drove me to it.
By having the temerity to get pregnant after you seduced me. Shocking, I know. God, what was I thinking back then?
You know what I mean. If it wasn't for your wantonness, I'd have never fallen to temptation. Carrying on like that, walking around with your ankles on display.
I didn't have any shoes, because someone didn't pay me enough. I wonder who.
Well, you've got some now.
Yes, I was all in my Sunday best when you pushed me down the well. It was just after church, remember? You'd preached a very forceful sermon on, what was it now?
The sanctity of the family. Look, I realise that you're not happy about this.
Well, I wasn't exactly overjoyed as I plummeted to my death.
But nor was I. It was a difficult choice. If I hadn't, you know, I would have been in real trouble. I didn't take killing you lightly. Back then I couldn't be seen to have, you know, slept with someone else. Not out of wedlock.
And certainly not the help. Oliver Cromwell would never have invited you to another cheese and wine party again.
I had a reputation.
Trust me, you've still got one. The murderous vicar of Bark Hall. You said you wanted to ask me something.
Yes. You know, I've been thinking about it, and I just can't figure out why you're still here.
I'm sorry?
When all's said and done, I deserve to be here. I sinned. You're innocent, though. You did nothing wrong. Your innate licentiousness aside, why are you still trapped here?
Who says I'm trapped? Maybe I like it here. Oops, wall ahead. See you on the other side, so to speak.
You like it here? You like tormenting me, you mean?
Oh, for God's sake, it's not all about you, Nathaniel. No, I don't enjoy tormenting you because you make me look like an amateur at it. I've come to like being here, in this building.
I did once, when it was my home, before they ruined it.
Ruined? You've got to be kidding. It's got much better, especially in the last 50 years. It was never clean when I was here. The whole house used to be filthy.
Maybe you should have washed the floors a bit more often.
Maybe you should have given me some candles so I could see what I was doing. But oh no, that would have been an extravagance, and the Lord made us to be frugal.
Not the damned candles again. We've been arguing over the candles for several centuries. We're just going over the same old ground.
We're ghosts, Nathaniel. Going over the same old ground is what we do. It's pretty fundamental to the job.
Let's just call it water under the bridge.
Or down the well. So why tonight?
I'm sorry?
Why are you asking me all these things tonight? Normally you just pace about and make that irritating moaning noise.
Don't you know what night it is?
No.
This is the night I killed you.
Fancy that, forgetting my own death day.
It's me who ought to remember it. Ah, the rose window. I remember looking out of here and seeing Oliver Cromwell's men come riding up the path, bearing news of the execution of the king. Happy days.
Laugh a minute. Still, everything was less commercial then, wasn't it? We used to have a proper old-fashioned Christmas back then, until they banned it for not being pious enough. I mean, how do you ban Christmas for being ungodly? It's the birth of Christ. How much more holy can you get? They're raising funds to fix up the roof, you know. I learned it on the guided tour.
That foolishness. Telling people about my house, my rooms.
Actually, I rather like the tours. Besides, don't you want the visitors to learn about you?
I'm not sure I do.
The roof could do with some new tiles and some new beams to hold them up. You know, the whole place would fall down without the tours. If it wasn't for the visitors, the house wouldn't have central heating or hot running water. Not that I feel the cold and my clothes don't get dirty, but hey, look at this. Let there be light.
By the saints! How did you do that?
Oh, practice really. The way I see it, if they can see us, why can't they sense us in other ways? I turn the lights on and off quite a bit, actually, especially when we have visitors.
The visitors? Why entertain that bunch of oafs and slatterns?
They like it, Nathaniel. Except for that one who had the heart attack. You have to give them the odd ghostly happening. Paranormal activity, they call it. It keeps people coming here. Come for the architecture. Stay for the Wailing Well lady. They're going to show horror films on the lawn again at Halloween. Last year they showed The Shining.
What is this Shining?
It's a story about a man trapped in a haunted house.
What was it like?
Inaccurate. And they're going to film another episode of Amazing History in the Great Hall too.
With that awful little woman dressing up as a lady-in-waiting again, I expect. I've never known anyone so irritatingly cheerful. Except for the Witchfinder General, I suppose. He was a surprisingly jolly man on occasion.
Do these occasions involve burning witches?
Actually, now you mention it, they did. Strange, isn't it, how your point of view changes with time? I look back on those days with such nostalgia, but all the things I miss were, well, rather miserable, really. The leaks in the roof, the drafts, the religious mania, it's gone for good now.
Funnily, I don't really miss any of that.
All gone, except for me. And now I'm stuck here. Jane, you seem better at all of this than I. You can laugh at your situation, stay cheerful, make something of your life. Death, unlife, you know what I mean. You can even turn the lights on and off. How do you do it?
Switches, mainly.
I mean, how do you not despair?
Well, I suppose I came to terms with it all. And after a while I realised it wasn't all bad. I was wrong when I said that it couldn't be worse just now. It could be worse. Much worse. If this is hell, at least it isn't hot. When I was a girl, my mother told me to remember that there was always someone worse off than myself. In this case, it's you. I draw a certain comfort from that.
I shouldn't have asked.
Look, for the ghost of a murderous Puritan, you're not all bad. And it would get a bit too quiet on my own. I mean, we're the unquiet dead, right? Perhaps you need to get involved.
I am involved. I'm part of the building. The walls hold up the roof keeps the rain out, supposedly, and I walk the halls, repenting my sins.
Have you ever considered that there might be a bit more to it than just feeling sorry about what you did?
I don't know what you mean. I've repented, heaven knows I've prayed. I can't bring you back to life again, although I wish I could. What more can I do?
Do something, some good deeds.
I can't do anything, Jane. I am a ghost. The best I can manage is walking about in the hope that some madman with a camera takes my picture and puts it in the Fortitude Times.
40 times. Look, you're visible, right? And people can hear you. So you can do something.
Warn them of the eternal torment that awaits all sinners. I spent my whole life doing that. Fat lot of good it did, too. They never appreciated any of my sermons, even the exciting ones with the demons in.
That's not what I mean exactly. But you'll be walking the halls, I promise. Just with a purpose this time. What do you think about turning over a new leaf?
Oh, I'd tip over a whole forest if I thought it would change things. All right, I'll do it. Whatever it is.
Great. Now, don't tell anyone, but I've got a bit of a deal going with the National Trust people. Well, they're all there, ready and waiting. Right then, time to go out and knock 'em dead. Figuratively speaking, of course. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bark Hall. My name is Jane, and I'll be taking today's tour. As you can see, I'm dressed in the style of a serving woman from the time of the Civil War. Now, joining me today for the first time is my colleague Nathaniel here, who is dressed very much as the master of the house would have been.
Hello. I'm dressed as the Lord of the Manor, the Reverend Nathaniel Stock, probably better known to you as the Black Pastor of Bark Hall.
Now then, if you'd like to follow us, we'll head through to the Great Hall. Nathaniel, would you lead the way?
Yes, with pleasure. Follow me, please.
In Walking the Halls, the part of Nathaniel was played by Roger Surridge and Jane, Stephanie Campion. Coming soon from Little Wonder, Operation Seaman.
I think I can truly live without ever seeing my wife buffing her ex-boyfriend's banana.
Little Wonder.
Hi, I'm Keith, director of Little Wonder. We hope you enjoyed the show and will leave a like, comment or share us via social media. You can find all our work on iTunes under Little Wonder Radio Plays, where a rating or review would really help us out. Thanks for listening and come visit us at littlewonder.website.